Hey, what's up? So today I've got a little mini haul of 4 different books that I wanted to go through. So one of them I did mention before in a previous haul video that I was still waiting on. So I did a haul with some LDC posters that I showed off in that video, and in the same haul I bought this big silkscreen book here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this off first, and then we'll go through the other 3 books that we have for today. So this book here is called Honeymoon, and this is by Takashi Nemoto, who is a heta-uma artist and mangaka. So this is quite a big book. I bought this because at the moment, other than this book here right now, I don't have anything by Nemoto by himself. So I think I do have some other like collections of sorts that include his work, but nothing that has his work solely. And so this is an art book. There were only 150 copies that were made for this, and so what I'll do is I'll just flick through the pages. So LDC again, amazing silkscreen books. A lot of color in this one. Some of the pages I'll probably will have to censor, but we've also got some cool fold out things as well. So this is a gigantic one featuring a lot of blood, a lot of gore, and of course phallic objects. So this part of the video, this section may be a lot of blurring depending on how much is in here, because so far I don't have any manga from Takashi Nemoto. I've definitely read some of his stuff in Axe, and it's just as crazy. Also in this book here we do have some like collages, I guess, so some photography mixed in with the drawings that he usually does. So LDC has made a couple of different things that is Takashi Nemoto related. So a lot of different art books and also posters as well. He was featured in the the Manga Heta-uma exhibition that LDC did in partnered with I forgot her name, but I believe it was the person who is in charge of Takoshe. But yeah, that was Honeymoon. So in total, it's not that long of a book, but it's quite a big one and really cool fold out pages as well. So yeah, and of course the cover is really nice. It's all this red, which fits well with a lot of the stuff inside, but it's a very chaotic cover, which I love. And going with heta-uma, I think it's a really good harmony that you have the chaos and all of this color as well, so to the point where you can't really see what's happening, but kind of my thing. So yeah, that was the first book that we have for today. The second book, which I'll go through, will be this little one here. So this is a little bunko edition of all of the short stories in around the 70s. Or I wouldn't say all, but the mangaka is Naono Yoshiko, and this is called the Woolen Pants. So毛糸のズボン. The complete collection of traumatic girls manga. So the mangaka was creating a lot of these like horror works back in the 70s, and Chikuma Bunko, I believe was the publisher, decided to do a reprint of their works and put it all into this one little bunko. So here are all the different works here. So I didn't realize, but as I was looking this up, I have actually read one story by Yoshiko, which I will show off later because it did appear in a Gara issue. And I recognized her stuff after looking up all the stories, but quite an interesting one. I mean, good news as well. 4 days after this book had come out, it was actually slated for another reprint. So the response to this was it was a pretty well received book, which is great. So I'm not sure what's happening right now at the moment. It still may be in process of reprinting, because I got this maybe, I think February this year. So it probably still is, in the process of being reprinted, but I picked this up on Amazon Japan. Unfortunately, it did come a little bit damaged with this crease here, but for me, I'm not too worried about book quality. Sometimes, you know, a lot of the books anyways that I get are used, old, more than 40 years old, so I've grown less sensitive to caring about book quality. But yeah, it kind of sucked that it was a little bit banged up, but you know, what can you do? But I'll just go through the synopsis, the translated synopsis for this book here. So it says, a collection of traumatic girls manga that frighten girls in the 70s with suspense that delves into human psychology that we can all relate to, with original commentary for each story. So what I'll do now is I'm going to show off the Gara issue, the specific one that I read my first story from them in. So it was this Gara issue here, 1968 August, with a cover by Shirato Sanpei. So the specific story in this was titled Experiment. So let me find, what was it? There we go. Should be page 101. So I'll quickly flip through. This specific issue I haven't shown off in a dedicated video yet, but I will get to that in the future. So here we go. We've got Experiment by Naono Yoshiko. And what this one is about is essentially a group of people get chucked into a room and they're left there to starve and essentially go crazy. So here are all of them stuck in this room, a bolted door obstructing them from their freedom. So they kind of over time just get warier and more tired and more desperate, and apparently seems to be some sort of experiment by someone outside. Here we got them escalating, and it ends off with this guy who is I guess the person who conducted all of this. He's just not even outside the room itself, he's just sitting somewhere else at a cafe enjoying his time there. So yeah, that was, I read this, man, I would say sometime in 2024. This was one of the earlier issues that I read, but yeah, so it's cool to know that I have actually encountered and experienced their works first in a Gara issue. But I believe the stories that are collected in here, they're not all from Gara. They are from various Showa era manga magazines. So if I find out more info about where these are from, I will put them in the description. But yeah, these are some of the commentary behind. So yeah, that was the Woolen Pants collection by Naono Yoshiko, Little Bunko, and the Gara issue there. So let's move on to our third book. I'll leave this for last. I'll go through this here because this one's great. So this is the JOJO magazine winter edition. So it's the 4th issue in this JOJO magazine series. So I've got all the other ones, but if you're a JOJO fan, it's an amazing book. They always do some really nice looking covers. This one specifically features some of the villains of the story. I haven't read parts 5, 6 and all that in a couple of years, so I don't actually remember the names of all these villains, but you've got some, I believe these are from part 5, Golden Wind. This guy's from Golden Wind. These look like also part 5. Man, are they actually all part 5? Oh, I have to brush up on my JOJO knowledge, but also got this cool background. And with all of the JOJO magazines, they do give you little shiny like postcards or stickers. So I've already taken them out. We've got 2 here, which is amazing because I've framed some of them because they're not too big. So we've got a little sticker collection. We've got the Stone Ocean Girls, what's her name? Yamagishi from part 4. We've got Yasuho from part 8. Yeah, part 8. And then you've got the Enyaba lady from part 3. So we have that there, and then we've got this cool, or like a little version of the cover here with all the villains and their names as well, and just different variants. So great stuff. And inside the actual book, various things. I haven't read it yet, but you can go onto, I'll put a link to the wiki where it details what contents there are in the specific volume. So there's stuff like manga techniques that Araki has. There's a section, a special feature for specifically the women in JoJo. This here, I remember, was like a stained glass or a clock installation that Araki had somewhere. I'm not sure if it was in Japan or somewhere else, but I did see, here we go, yeah. We've got sort of background and the behind the scenes of creating that. So I'm just gonna quickly flip through the rest. Extra talks, some extra one-shots throughout. We've got a JoJo figurine. I haven't been keeping up with JoJo Lands, to be honest, part 9. It's been a while since I've touched it. I guess I'm just waiting for it to go on for a little longer so I can binge it. But I believe this section here, yes, it's the women in JoJo section. So it looks like here it's going through a lot of the female characters in the series over all the different parts with some amazing, I really love Jolene. She's one of my favorite JoJos out of the whole series. Got a little portrait of her here. And yeah, so more stands, tribute illustrations, which are really cool. Kishibe Rohan, and then a one-shot at the back. And yeah, so the stickers and postcard came from this little packet here, which I've opened. So yeah, that was the JoJo magazine winter issue, the 4th issue so far. I believe they release, I'll have to check specifically the frequency in which these magazine releases, but 4 of them so far, they've probably been started from 2022 or 23. But yeah, some amazing colors, and all of them are shiny, which is a big bonus because I love shiny things. So now we're moving on to the last book here. This one has been a sought after book for quite a while, actually. So in my head, it's not really like it's not a set, I guess, trio of sorts, but in my head, there are a trio of artists that I've wanted to get books for a while. So number 1 was Tadanori Yoko, which I do not have yet. I don't have a book from them yet. Number 2 is Tanami Keiichi, who I do have a book in. I'll show off, I guess, in a later video. But this one here is called Graphism in the Wilderness by Kiyoshi Awazu, the 3rd artist who I wanted to get a book by. And so I've known of this book for a while, but just been waiting for one to actually pop up to find. But Kiyoshi Awazu, amazing graphic designer, artist, illustrator. This book has tons and tons of artwork and content to consume and enjoy. So what I'll do is I'll flick through a couple, but I'll show you for as an example what artwork you would normally see when you do search up his name. It's very like colorful rainbow works, stuff like this. So he's done posters, here we go, things like this. His use of rainbows throughout all of his posters are so good. Like this one, for example, this is so nice. But yeah, so just to read out a little summary of Kiyoshi Awazu as I flick through this. They were a self-taught graphic designer born in Tokyo in 1929. I will also link in the description. This is from the 50 Watts shop, so I'm just looking at their summary there, but here's an example of all the rainbow stuff I was talking about. So good, so good. And these seem to be like different covers of, I guess, different magazines. But yeah, so fascinated by the intersection of Japanese tradition with modern culture, his imaginative works blended elements from Japanese woodblock prints, calligraphy, and Buddhist arts with bold colors and confident lines. Very, very bold colors. But yeah, finally happy to have a book by him. It wasn't too expensive when I did find it. I think it was honestly just a matter of time, but I will link a description to the 50 watts store, the online store in below, so you can have a look. They have more pictures up there, and 50 watts in general, shout out to their store. They have tons of cool stuff, especially if you're into Japanese manga and art, then check that store out. And yeah, I've got a giant section at the back, but here he is. That is him, the man himself, Kiyoshi Awazu. So if you're interested in Kiyoshi Awazu, he's had a couple of art books, but it's going to be, I think, an issue of just rarity, to be honest, in finding those ones. But yeah, check him out. You know, look at all his other books and keep an eye out for his works. But if you are interested in his arts, other artists I would recommend would be, like before I was saying, Tanami Keiichi. You've got Tadanori Yoko. Tadanori has tons of books as well, so I guess it's about finding which one you like. Tanami Keiichi, I have an earlier book from him, which I might as well take out now, but I'll show it off in more detail in another video. Actually, I found where it was, but it's actually on the very bottom of a very large pile that I don't really want to unearth right now, so I promise I will show it off in another video. But yeah, Tanami Keiichi, I do have one of his art books that I got from Sean from Japan Book Hunter. That is his earlier work. It features his earlier illustrations, because later on his artwork did evolve to being more I don't know, I guess, how do I describe it? It was very bold, very bright, that it didn't really suit my taste too much. So I don't have any art books of him, of his later stages of art, but I do have just that earlier period of his artwork. But yeah, recommend his stuff. Also would recommend Hiroshi Nakamura. I have shown off previous videos in the past. I've got 2 of his books, but political arts and very insane, I guess, concepts. We've got trains and girls merging into one, that sort of thing. But yeah, so that was Graphism in the Wilderness by Kiyoshi Awazu. Check his stuff out if you haven't heard of him before. But yeah, so that was everything in today's mini haul video. Just the 4 books, Bunko, the JOJO, and Takashi Nemoto's book. So as of right now, I am cutting down, I think I mentioned in previous videos, cutting down the books that I buy. I am expecting 2 other books that are coming in the mail probably next week. Just 2 books though. They are actually in English, so they are manga related, comics related. I'm expecting that. Other than that, I don't think I'm planning to get anything else other than, of course, the Living the Line smudge imprint manga. So keep your eye out for that, because right now the most recent release has been Mansect by Shinichi Koga. Haven't got that yet. We'll pick that up sometime soon. Ryan Holmberg has announced on his Instagram the 5th and 6th book. So the 5th one is one by Bonten Taro, and the 6th one is by Ichima Shiro, I believe his name was. Insane license. I was so surprised that they actually got that license there, because it was probably like 2-3 years ago that I first looked and encountered their works in one of Sean's videos back when it was Koenji Sean Reviews. But yeah, I will link those in the description. Look out for them. And another thing that I will be getting as well, today or maybe yesterday, Holmberg also announced, both Holmberg and Bubbles had announced the release of the Suehiro Maruo English book, which is titled, I think, Beautiful Monster. So that is finally out in English. Got to pick up that too. And we've got another release by Glacier Bay Books, Ding Pao Yen, announced. I'm not sure if it's up for ordering yet, but another thing to look out for. But yeah, so those are my prospective purchases in the next couple of months, I would say. Anything else, I don't think, not right now. I'm trying not to buy too much, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.